didn't know. My grandpa showed me how. Well, I was there most every day as soon as school was out, for Grandma's homemade cookies, Grandpa's tales about all the things he'd done and seen for he'd lived a long full life. Most of all, I loved to hear him talk about his favorite knife. It was a double-bladed trapper with scales of yellow bone, blades worn down to slivers from years upon the stone, one bolster missing, one just a hanging on, just hanging on. One day Gramp looked serious as he sat me on his knee. He said, I wanna tell you, boy, what this knife means to me. You see, I was just a lad myself, probably 8 or 9. It was the midst of the Depression. We had a pretty hard time. My daddy left to look for work, so we helped my grandpa farm. We surely didn't have much, but at least we didn't starve. My grandpa bought that knife for me back in 1932. Somewhere he got the money, though how I never knew. He bought me a double-bladed trapper with scales of yellow bone. The nickel-silver bolsters, they were polished till they shone, and the blades were razor sharp, though they never touched the stone. Never touched the stone. Well, Grandpa told me stories about where that knife had been, how it got him through the war, how it saved his soul from sin. He opened up my eyes to life, taught me all he knew, like how to carve a spoon from wood, how to make a good beef stew. And one day I came home from school. Mom's eyes were filled with tears. She looked as if a single day had added 20 years. She said the tractor overturned and Grandpa got hurt. The ambulance had been gone, the tracks there in the dirt. I reached the hospital and met my grandma just outside, but I could tell what happened just by the way she cried. She held me close, took out her purse, put a packet in my hand. Grandpa said to give you this and to tell you you're a man. And it was a double-bladed trapper with scales of yellow bone, blades worn down to slivers from years upon the stone, missing one, just hanging on, just hanging on. Well, folks, that was many years ago that I got my grandpa's knife. But all those things he taught me, I remembered all my life. I taught my kids the golden rule: made no favorites, but still there's one priceless possession left to my grandpa.